Hi, this is Aurora, folks, and tonight the Nocturnals at the SVA Theater in New York and Chelsea for the premiere of The Photograph. Let's get ready to catch up with the cast and see what they have to say. So we're here at the Woman of the Hour, Issa Rae. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. I was a little late for my premiere, so I appreciate y'all hanging around. But I'm happy. I'm happy it's going to be out soon.
Yeah, it's okay. Fashion related is fine. It's okay.
Not my style.
It's okay. So I just wanted to say that I have been following your work since your YouTube days, An Awkward Black Girl. I'll be waiting for the episodes to come out on YouTube.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes. But since then, you've gone on to write and produce and star in many things that really push representation onto the screen. Why do you feel like that's so important to do and to push for those kind of faces on film that we don't see normally?
I think if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. Or when they do try to do it, it's coming from an inauthentic place. And I think it's up to us as the storytellers of this generation to not only tell our stories, but to empower other people in our community to tell their stories as well.
That's true, because we all have a diverse range of stories that need to be told on the screen that I feel like isn't really shown as often.
Absolutely, and we're just now scratching the surface. Even with a movie like this, it is a very specific love story, but it's not going to represent all Black love stories, and hopefully it'll inspire more in the future.
I agree. And speaking of stories, May's story, can you talk to me about what that's about and how you actually got into the role, what pulled you in for it? What spoke to you?
What pulled me in was reading the script. I just worked with Stella on an episode of Insecure, and the script came my way, and I was just like, this is a Black love story, and it's just a love story, and she wants me to play the lead, and it's this character who I could identify with, and in her fear of being vulnerable and her fear of not knowing if she's quote unquote good at love, and she had this quiet grace about her that I felt like I was excited to try to bring to the role.
So you feel like you were able to relate and really connect to this role?
To certain aspects. I'm very fortunate enough to be very close with my mother, and this character obviously had a very distant relationship with her mother, so in that way trying to embody that was kind of a challenge for me. I can't imagine not being on good terms with her.
And what do you want to see more within, since we do have Black romances coming out in film and it's becoming more prevalent, especially with The Photograph, what would you like to see? What kind of roles would you like to see out there for us now?
For us, I think, different socioeconomic backgrounds. I think the tendency is to, when you have a Black narrative set in a certain economic status, it has to be like, rife, or it has to be tragic, and it doesn't have to be that way. So I'm looking forward to seeing what other movies come out that represent Black love in a different way.
And what do you want the audience, when they're going in to see this, because I'm going to go and see it too, I'm super excited, what do you hope that we can take out of this film?
I hope that you guys leave with nostalgia and an open heart.
So talk to me about what pulled you into this script. Like, how did it come to you? What spoke to you about the character?
Stella and I, the director, who was magnificent, we had a working relationship. So when she asked me about it, actually when I read the script, I was out and I'm sold. Like, I want to be a part of this in some capacity.
Very cool. And what did you really like the most about the movie? Like, what kind of just spoke to you? How did you relate to it?
I like the character. I mean, honestly, it's good to be a part of a story, but my end to the story was the character I'd be playing. And I love the fact that young Isaac was super simple, and he had a clarity about himself. He is somebody who decided that he had two loves, the love of his life, and then his craft, or what it is he does, his lifestyle. And he wanted to build a home around that. So that type of simplicity is something that I feel resonates with me, but also it's something I aspire to at the same time.
Very nice. And this is actually your second time around working with Issa Rae. Mm-hmm. So can you talk to me about what it was like starring with her in this film as opposed to when you were in Insecure?
Yeah. Honestly, the most I've seen with Issa for this film is press and stuff like that, because we don't have much as far as scenes together. Like, I'm in the flashbacks and she's in modern day, so it's cool because we get to see Issa in a completely different bag on this joint. So I'm excited for people to see that, man, because she different. Like May is completely different from Issa D, the character on Insecure. So yeah, she kills it.
Very cool. And what do you want audience members to take out of this film?
Love, follow with love, run in with love, and the rest will follow.
Very cool.
And then the men, try to be vulnerable. I know it's hard for the fellas,
Right.
but at the end of the day, like, you gotta reserve that open space in your heart. Who knows what can happen? So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Miss
Thank you.
Aurora.
Yes. How are you feeling tonight?
I feel good. I'm excited. Yeah, it's a good movie. I can't wait for I like watching people watch the movie, so I can't wait for people who haven't seen the movie watch it tonight.
Very cool. I'm excited to see it, so I can't wait.
It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful film. Stella is just an amazing writer and director. She did an amazing job with this film. I'm very happy to be a part of it.
Very cool. So can you even actually just talk to me about how the script came to you and what you really took out of the character? What spoke to you?
But Stella called me directly. We had a Skype call, and we just talked, man. And she's such a big fan of romance, and she did a movie called The Weekend, which I love. And she directed everything, which was great too. She just was dope. We had a cool conversation. So it's like, I want to do this movie, but can't we be friends too?
Like, let's do this afterwards too.
Yeah, let's just be friends at this point.
Very cool. And even just, what was it like working with the cast on set? What was that everyday experience like?
It was a lot of fun. Like I like Issa, one of my favorite people to work with, and I love making Issa laugh. So like, it's always fun trying to make her laugh. LaKeith is my homeboy. I like. This is why I like working with LaKeith. We could sit next to each other for like 30 minutes and not say nothing. And I like that because some people feel like they got to talk to you for no reason.
Like comfortable silence.
Man, we be chilling. You know what I mean? You may hear a laugh, like, what you looking at? And then we look at it like, and go back to our business again. But LaKeith is one of I'm so proud of that dude. Like, I like working with people that I love what they do. That's why I've watched this movie 5 times already, because I enjoy watching the cast.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm a movie person, but I love a good cast, man.
That really makes the movie experience, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Everybody killing it, too. Yeah.
But what was it that you took from the movie, and what do you hope the audience takes from the movie as well?
What I took from the movie is that, like, it's very important to make sure you humanize your parents. I know that because it is a romance, but it is something that when you start to learn who your parents really are. They're adults, too. They've been through the same things. And I think a lot of times we put our parents on, like, this superhero pedestal, but most of the time when you have kids or you become their age, you're like, damn, how did you do that? I think about it all the time. I'm like, how did they feed us? Like, that's the budget you had? But, like, I think it's something about humanizing your parents, and I think that's, and loving who they are, too. We expect them to love us unconditionally, and I think sometimes we don't do the same, especially after we get to know who they really are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Shantae Adams, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very, very good. Thank you. So I feel like we haven't really seen movies that showcase Black romance. We haven't seen it in a long time, especially with Black leads within the romance department.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like films like this are important to showcase that?
Yeah, because, we're just like everybody else, and we have our stories of trauma and of despair and pain, and those stories are absolutely necessary. But we also just fall in love sometimes, and we get our heart broken, and sometimes we just want to see that, and that is what we can relate to. And so we're happy that our movie provides the reflection of that.
Okay. And what connected you to your character? What pulled you in?
What pulled me in was that she was so complex and complicated and passionate, and she had so many layers that I was able to dive so deep into. As an actor, that's like a dream role.
And did you feel like you had to research a lot to get into this role, or how did you really engulf yourself in this character?
Girl, I called my mama and asked her what it was like to be 20 in the 80s and fall in love, because that was essentially what Christina was going through. Also, as everyone knows, I'm no stranger to the 80s. I clearly can't get out of them, so that's my new decade. But yeah.
Okay. And what would you like audience members to take out of this, and what did you take out of this film?
Well, pretty much the same thing that I want audiences to take out of it, and that is that it might be time to hash it out and call the loved one that that you may have had some trouble with in the past. I think very recently we've all recognized that life is short and we don't know when our end is going to come. So call that person that you haven't spoken to in a while and see if communication and a healthy journey to move forward is possible.
So I just want to talk about the fact that we really haven't seen a lot of Black romance in films since like the 90s to the early 2000s, but you seem to have captured this with the photograph. What do you feel like is so important, and why do you feel like it's so important to capture this?
I mean, I want to see us, I want to see us in all our different complexions and all our different complexities on screen, loving, growing, finding ourselves, the intellectual work, the psychological work, yeah.
And why, like, I noticed the relationship between May and her mother is kind of like a complex kind of dynamic. Can you discuss what their dynamic is like within the film?
Yeah, I mean, it is a relationship between a mother-daughter that is very complex. They are close, but they have a lot of distance between them emotionally because her mother just has trouble sharing, being close emotionally. And this movie is a lot about her figuring out how to talk to her daughter. Yeah.
It's a really nice concept to talk about because I feel like we don't see that often in films as well.
Yeah.
But I also want to know what inspired you, because I do see in the film May is inspired to find out more about her mother after seeing a photograph. So what was your inspiration?
I mean, when I was writing the film, my grandmother was meeting a daughter she had given up when she was very young. And I didn't know. And so it made me think, like, what don't we know about our mothers that have affected them and in turn affected us?
True. And how much of yourself were you able to put into that script since you had that personal experience?
I mean, there is inspiration through my life throughout the film. It's not autobiographical or anything like that, but there's moments in relationships I've had, moments with family members I've had that have found their way into the film. Yeah.
Nice. And what do you want the audience to really just take away from this kind of film?
That it's okay to be vulnerable, and that it's okay to think about where you are in your journey, and to compromise to find love.
I see. And just a quick word on what can you say to inspire those who are interested in being a writer and a director, just holding those many hats, because I know it's definitely a success. Talk about that.
You really have to believe in yourself, and you really have to do the work. You have to, if you want to write, you got to write every day, and you got to get better, and you got to be the best. You got to be able to break through, and to do that, it takes practice and work. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Clearly, it worked out with this film. It already looks like it's going to be a success, and I can't wait to watch it.
Thank you so much.
We're here with Kelvin. How do you feel being here tonight?
I feel so grateful just to be here. It's such a beautiful movie, and I'm seeing all my friends and so many actors that I respect and love so much, so it's just awesome.
And it seems like it's an excellent night tonight. I feel like there's such a great energy in the air.
Yes, it's a great energy because we're here to celebrate, Black love on Valentine's Day that's coming up in a few days, and that's a beautiful thing,
And speaking of Black love, I feel like we don't see that enough in film. How does it feel to be a part of a film that really showcases that?
I mean, I'm just so proud to see us tackle it in such a complex but also beautiful way. I mean, it looks beautiful, the music is beautiful, the rhythm between individuals is beautiful. I think it's refreshing because oftentimes we see us being torn apart, or we see interracial issues, and all that's beautiful. But it's nice to be reminded that when we come from the same community, when we share some of the same experiences, we see each other and we know how to heal and help each other and love each other in a specific kind of way. So I'm grateful for this movie.
Very nice. And what did you take out of the movie when you saw it for the first time?
I haven't seen it. I'm seeing it for the first time tonight.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I just remember being there and reading the script.
Well, what are you expecting to get out of it? What do you take away?
I expect to probably laugh because I know Laurel is in it, and I just feel like I'm gonna feel like moments that I've experienced in my life will be reflected again to me, and I'm just gonna be smiling cheek to cheek, going, "Whoa!" Like, this is what it feels like to be immersed in a movie and feel like a part of an experience instead of just seeing it as a bystander, being like, "That's interesting what they're doing over there," So I'm excited.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to see it too tonight. Thank you so much for
you
talking
haven't
with us.
seen it either?
Not yet, so our first time.
Hey,
Thank
I'm
you
gonna see you
so
afterwards.
Yes, I'll see you. Thank you so much. Hi, we're here with Alana Miller and DeWanda Wise. How are you two feeling tonight?
Good.
Yeah, very, very good. So a lot of people who are coming up, they're mentioning that they haven't seen like a Black romance since like the early 90s, early 2000s. How does it feel to just be a part of something that really captures it for the first time in a long time?
Yeah, there's not a lot of opportunities on at the studio level, and so it is very, very, very conspicuous when it happens. I'm glad it's Stella.
Agreed.
I think brown girls are in beautiful hands in Stella McGee. And we're just honored to be here and be able to show up and support, and let you know that some fire is coming your way, because I just know it is.
Definitely hot fire.
And what are you hoping to expect from coming out of this film, like moving forward?
More films, more love stories, more everything, and also, more Issa, more Stella, more LaKeith, more everything. I mean, we're just in a space now where, this is a renaissance that we're in, and we need to make sure that we capitalize off of it. So, We need to keep moving forward. Everyone needs to support. We need to continue to get behind this quality work because
Show up, yeah.
and show up for each other. Yeah.
So talk to me about how you, just the general feeling you have for tonight with this premiere of this movie.
I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen it yet. So I'm excited to see it in its entirety. I read the script, but that's a different thing than the actual manifestation of the thing. I'm excited for Stella. I'm so proud of her. I'm so happy for her. I love any forms of black love, any forms of love. I love a love story. Like, my favorite movies are corny romances. So, and like super favorite are black romances. So, I'm here for all of it. I'm just excited to be here on a beautiful day, and we open on Valentine's Day. It's so sweet. Like, I hope everybody goes to see our film, but I'm just happy to be here.
Me too. And speaking of, you were saying you love like black romances and like the corny ones. I love those too. But I feel like we haven't seen like a true like black romance since like the 90s, early 2000s.
Yes. Jason's Lyric. What was the other one? What's that? Brown Sugar. Yes, like we have not. So that's why I am so excited about this. And I know that makes us look so old, or me anyway. But that's literally like, that's what I remember. And I remember feeling just like love was possible when I saw those films. Like love from me. Because we didn't get in the 90s, other than the Cosbys, which is now problematic, the Huxtables, like we didn't get any real examples. I remember Dwayne and Whitley, and like we had a couple of examples of black people actually falling in love and being in love and loving each other, and it not being messy and weird and crazy. And it's just like, I think that's important for people to know that we love just like everybody else, that it's not always filled with drama, And even if it is, it's still beautiful.
I agree 1,000%, and I hope you enjoy the film tonight.
Thank you.
Just talk to me about how you came into being the composer for this film.
Stella hit me up. She was a fan of my music already, so it kind of helped that I have records out, and she was like, "I want you to do the music." So, yeah, I skipped the process of the audition right there. So that was it.
That must have been cool.
I read the script. I was like, I'm in.
Very cool. What sold you on it? Was it something about the story itself, or?
Yeah, the story. It kind of reminded me of like a 2020 Love Jones or something. You know what I mean? And I love Issa and I love LaKeith, and I was like, I got to be part of this movie. And it just felt right. It felt like something I would want to watch and something I would want to be a part of.
Right. And paying homage to those like old school classic movies like Brown Sugar and Love Jones, do you feel like that helped in your creative process with composing for the film?
Oh yeah, for sure, because I'm all about that, and I love hip hop, I love real music, I love jazz, love hip hop, I love R&B, I love all of it. And this is the movie that all of those things fit perfectly, because Issa and LaKeith are both people who love all those kinds of music, very eclectic minds. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Well, that must make for a nice mix for the film. What can we expect to hear musically?
Hopefully, I'm hoping the music that I did ushers in the feeling that Stella was trying to get across for each thing. Whether it's you being angry, being sad, being happy, whatever it is, I'm just hoping that helped usher it in.
So talk to me about when you knew you found your May and your Michael. Like, how did you know?
Oh, for the movie? You know what? Issa was a conversation very, very early on, and Stella always had an eye for her, and we had a conversation about that. And I know Issa had worked with her previously, and then LaKeith was somebody that I don't know that we initially thought of, but boy, was he the right choice. He is so awesome in this movie. Audiences are going to see a different side of him. He could do anything.
Right.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Very cool. And do you feel like movies like this will help kind of shift the narrative for how society views black romance within film?
I hope so. I mean, we need more of them. One movie won't do it, but I think that if we have imagery like this put out into the mainstream, we will see more and more, people believe and aspire to be what they see.
Right.
So that's why it's important to have that imagery out there so that we can aspire to, and it's not a movie about trauma. It's a movie about love.
We're here with Dakota. How are you feeling tonight?
Good.
Good. What was your favorite part about being in this movie? What just made you so excited when you were there?
I was really excited when I got to meet the producers.
Very, very cool. And who was your favorite person to work with? Did you like working with Issa and LaKeith?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's next for you? What are you going to do next? What are you going to do tonight?
I'm going to hang out with my family because it's so fun.
This has been a picture perfect night here tonight at the Photograph premiere. Stay tuned to the Nocturnal.